This is the last lesson on the diet section of component 2, which is exam 2. So this one's looking at factors affecting optimum weight. But before we go any further, I'm going to ask you the question: where are you watching this video? If you're watching it on Teams on your laptop or computer, you're very lucky for a start. If you're doing that, get hold of your mobile. If you've got one that's working properly, go to the PE YouTube on Charlton High PE department. Click on this same video. I'm going to upload it there and watch alongside the PowerPoint on your screen, or just have the quiz and the Word document up ready on your assignments for you to complete. So you can do the assignments and watch and listen for me at the same time. It'll save you time. Then I get to see your work as well. And hopefully it'll aid your understanding a little bit more. So video there, your work on the screen, it'll half your working time, I reckon. So please do that. That's why I do it, yeah? Okay. So we're looking at factors that affect optimum weight. So first of all, what are factors? Yeah. Obviously, we'd have a discussion in class. For me, there are things that will affect weight or optimum weight. Okay, so the things that will affect how that a person's weight is determined, and we're going to look at that in a second. So, before we go on to look onto the factors, what does optimum mean? So, we've got Jessica Ennis here. She was a heptathlete, so she had to do 7 different events of varying types of that needed various types of physical ability. So some needed strength, some needed you to be lightweight. So she needs a real balance there. So her optimum weight, actually, for the best for her was very low body fat, a high-ish amount of muscle, not too much, but not too little. A lot of lean muscle, what it's called, and she didn't need to be too tall, too short. So you can see where I'm going with this. So her optimum weight will be different to that of, let's say, a rugby player. So the word optimum, if we're looking at there, it's the person's ideal weight. In our case, in our subject, it's for the sport. In a normal case, optimum would be sort of the healthiest weight for your height and sex, basically. And then we need to acknowledge as well that body weight affects performance. And then some performers, like I just said, might benefit from being lighter or heavier. So we'll look at that in a second. So, and there's 4 different factors there. You're going to pause me in a second. There's 3 pictures. The one with the arrow towards it has 2 factors in there. So can you work out what they are? Pause me, 30 seconds, work it out. Okay, so you've got your 4 there. Ignore that. That's just if we were in class. So the 4, we've worked them out. In fact, let me go back there. You've got heights. So Peter Crouch there, obviously he's very tall. The dog, you don't need a dog to affect your optimum weight. It's looking at muscle girth there. So size of muscles will affect not necessarily muscular strength, but the size of muscles, a little bit different here. And also bone density, not the amount of bones. So everyone's got the same amount. Bone density, so how thick they are, how heavy they are as well. Okay, and then the other one is your sex, so that will determine your optimum weight there, basically. Okay, and that will determine what your weight is anyway. So there's the 4. So I'm just really quickly going to run through this. If the height affects your weight because tall people are usually heavier than small people, just sort of physics wise. Bones are longer, and obviously, if the bones are longer, the muscles that are attached to them will need to be longer and will be bigger as well. So that will create more weight. Sex, men tend to have larger muscles. I say tend to, I've underlined that. It's important, not all the time. A lot of the time it will be though if you sort of average it out across everyone in the country. And the same with bones. And they also tend to carry less body fat because that's the makeup of the sex. That's sort of how genetics have affected the weight there. But again, I've written tend to because lifestyle choices that we've done a few weeks ago, they will affect that a lot as well as genetics. So there will be a lot of women who have larger muscles than men, just not all the time. Bone structure, the more dense a person's bones are, generally they are stronger if they're denser as well, but they will also be heavier. Also, if someone's taller, that comes into height a little bit more. It means they're broad-shouldered, and they will have larger bones. Obviously, that will affect weight. Last one, muscle girth. Muscle weighs more than fat, just about, not by as much as you would think, but it is more dense, so that's why there's more packed into a space. Therefore, someone with larger muscles would be heavier than someone without the muscle. Okay. Don't forget as well that obviously someone with massive muscles is going to be heavier, but someone with lean muscle still may be heavier than someone without it as well. So if you look at Jessica Ennis, his picture before, she had a lot of lean muscle. She wasn't like stacked like bodybuilding wise, but she had a lot of lean muscle there, so that will still weigh a fair bit. Right, first task. I have given you a little task there. What you need to do is look at the sports people below and tick or put a yes, a Y or something in the box that you think is correct for that sport. So it says first one's done for you. It's not yet because I'm going to do it with you now. So it should look like this on your assignment. This has been a set to you on your assignment. So I'm going to do the first one. So if you can see there, sports person will look at a goal shooter. So it helps if you know more about sport, this topic. So this is why I always say, if you see some sport on TV that you haven't really seen before, watch it for 5 or 10 minutes just to get your head around it. If you find it interesting, keep watching. Some of you will know netball inside out. Some of you won't have a clue. We've played it a little bit. Obviously, we'll play it a little bit more as well. But if you've watched netball, you'll notice, just like basketball, the players tend to be quite tall. When I say quite tall, very tall. So I'd be putting a yes in there. We don't need to sort of go into why yet, but you need to sort of have an idea so that if you got it in an exam, you'd sort of understand the benefits of that. I don't think it'll be a massive answer. You just need to sort of be able to back up why you've put a yes in that box there. For me, it's because they'll be able to throw the ball over the opponent with an overhead pass. That's one example. Also, in particular for a goal shooter, a specific example is their arms will just be closer to the basket, so it'll be easier for them to put the ball in that basket. So that's there. So they wouldn't benefit from being short, really. Or there's an option for some of these where it doesn't matter that much, so you just put a yes in there. Let's look at bone density. So is that important for a netballer or doesn't matter that much? Bit of a tougher one, this. Let's say if it was a rugby player, you'd be like going, yes, straight in there. Bone density is important because it's a high impact sport. They're getting smashed all the time. And they need to be able to withstand that impact pressure there. For netball, bone density, I would say yes is important. There's an argument that it's not as important for rugby, and I would say it definitely isn't. But a lot of turning on the court, planting the foot on the floor all the time. It's on a hard ground. They need to be able to withstand the shock of hitting the ground all the time. Those of you that play netball, I wouldn't be surprised if you've all had an ankle injury at some point, because it's such a quick game and changing direction all the time. Those ankles need to be quite strong. The bones, sorry, in the ankles, not the ankles because that's ligaments, but the bones in the ankles and the tibia and the fibula need to be strong to help support that pressure there. And the carpals are obviously weight bearing as well, and the tarsals are weight bearing, and the metatarsals are also weight bearing as well. So they need to be strong to withstand that pressure. So yes, I would say it's important. muscle girth's an interesting one for netball. So how big do the muscles need to be? Do they need to be big? Do they need to be a lean muscle or somewhere in between? For me, it's lean muscle because they still need to have good muscular endurance to keep running up and down, sprinting up and down part of the court, and keep fizzing fast passes in all the time and keep the hands up all the time. So that would require lean muscle for good endurance there. So there's some more there. At the bottom, I've given you a chance to do it for your favourite sport. If your favourite sport's already been done, choose your next favourite and just fill it in as well. This will take you, I don't know, 5 minutes. Okay. And then please press submit. Go and do that. And then you can, if you're watching it on a video like I told you to, you'll just be able to do that, pause me, and then come back to me in a second. So I will meet you back on my slide in after you've done this. All right. So you've done that now. We're just going to look into a little bit more detail and sort of explore the topic a little bit more. It's not going to take too much longer, actually, this. So optimum weight varies in individual sports as well. So some it's going to be similar, like netball. It's going to be similar. Sports like rugby, you've got different positions. Football, the same. I'm trying to think even different types of gymnastics. Someone on the pommel horse will need to have more muscle girth than someone who's doing floor work, for example. We're going to look at American football today, but don't worry if you don't have a clue about American football. You don't need to. I've got 2 videos for you here. If the PowerPoint took ages to load up for you and you're not doing the work on the video, I've saved the videos in the file that you've gone to on Teams. So just go and click on them and open them up and use the PowerPoint that I've saved on there as well that doesn't have the videos on. But hopefully you've just watched me on the video. So we're just going to watch this together. Right, I'm going to pause it now. I'm going to explain it. This guy his nickname was the Refrigerator. I think it was in the 90s. The Refrigerator Man, because basically he was built like a fridge, a huge. That was his nickname, and he released a song. So that's a bit of context for what the madness you're about to see. Oh no! Right, let me go back. Let me try again. There we go. I'm going to keep it running because it's pretty catchy. But look at the size of him. Look what he's doing. Like, obviously, he's running there. That's not really part of his game. Look at him tackling there. Oh, he's actually not tackling there, so he's diving for the line. He's huge, isn't he? But he will also be part of the defense as well. Look at that big hit there. Yeah, so he's built like that for a reason. Yeah. I'm not going to keep playing it. You've got the full video there if you want to play it. It's a very catchy song, I think, actually. It's been stuck in my head all day when I've been planning this lesson. So that's one. So he makes part of the defense. He was part of the offense as well at some point, if you're into your American football. But why is he so big? Why is that as effective for him? Why is that his optimum weight to be that size? Yeah. So have a think about that. So what are the differences? And what sort of decided that optimum weight? Why is he like that? And then watch this catch. This is unreal. This is in 2000 and I think it's 2014. One of the best catches you'll ever see in your life.
The running back. Play action. And Manning's going to heave one. There's a flag. Beckham's a one-handed catch. How in the world? Oh my goodness. And Brandon Carr was back there. I mean, he is insane. How do you make that catch?
Oh my goodness. This is
a better angle.
This the music. I don't think he stepped out either. That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Number 39. Penalties decline. Go to the play. Touchdown.
You have to be kidding me. That is impossible. That is absolutely impossible what he just
caught it with his fingertips.
That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
It's in the conversation.
Wow. after being fouled. I mean, he was clearly
So
fouled on the play.
obviously, if you want to keep watching that, which I did for a long time, the video's on there. It's an unbelievable catch. But look at the difference between the two players in the same sport there. So that's Odell Beckham Jr. He's still playing now. You probably recognise the name, not just because it's Beckham. But he needs to run down the wing, catch the ball from the quarterback, and he needs to be really fast. Is he going to be able to run that fast and get away from Church, who his marker is there, if he's the size of a refrigerator? Yeah, but at the same time, is a refrigerator going to be able to stop that many those plays from the opposition? Is he going to be able to make crucial tackles or dive for the line as well if he's not the size of a refrigerator? So try and think what the benefits are and why their optimum weights are different. So basically, why the best weight for them is different for those two positions. Excuse me. Okay, there's a couple of other questions for you there as well. Are there any other sports that would benefit from different optimum weights? We've done it sort of in the last task as well, so you don't have to take too long on that. All right, so a bit of a shorter lesson today because you've got a second lesson as well. So there's two factors that can affect a person's optimum weight. Please, that should be 2 out of 2. We've done it 10 minutes ago. And then you've also got explain how the optimum weight of a power athlete may vary from that of an endurance athlete. These are two questions from a year 11 paper again. I'm hoping, and everyone should be looking at this going, oh, I can do that. That's easy. And you're in year 9. You've not even been in school with a teacher in front of you, and you'll still be able to smash this. And that I'm got no doubt about that. So I'm buzzing for you guys really. So give it a go and then pause me, do the task on Teams because you're going to watch me on YouTube like I told you to. Pause it, answer the question on the quiz that I've assigned to you, and then come back to me for a 2-minute wrap up about if you've got the answer correct or not. Okay. All right, so you've got the answers there. I'm just going to move me out of the way. So any one of the four you could have, any two of the four you could have written. As long as you spelt it right, the quiz would have given you the mark there. And then if you look at let me get my pen. If you look at the answers here, okay, there. That was a rubbish circle, wasn't it? Let's get rid of that. You could have done it two ways round. It didn't really ask for too much, this question. So a power athlete will have increased muscle mass or muscle girth, or have a denser bone, which will make them heavier, increasing their optimum weight. So, sorry, the first mark was they'll have increased muscle mass. Yeah, the power athlete, or have denser bone. That's your first mark. Very easy. Second one, which will make them heavier, increasing their optimum weight compared to the endurance athletes. So that second mark is actually really, really easy. You could have done it the other way around. You could have said an endurance athlete will have less muscle mass because they don't need it. They don't even have to write that. And then, therefore, they will have a lower optimum weight than a power athlete. To be honest, I'm surprised they've even made that a 2 marker. But I bet you guys have written even better stuff than that just to cover your own backs. So that's not a bad practice, that, because sometimes they can be harsher on the mark scheme. I always try and involve the examiner's report. If I've not put an apostrophe, naughty me. I always try and include the examiner's report. I think it's quite interesting. It's really worth looking at, and they always give an official answer that someone's put for whatever that year was for that exam. So they gained. I'm not going to read that out. You can read that for yourself. Pause me if you need to. Then there we go. He or she has written the optimum weight of a power athlete would be heavier than an endurance athlete. So basically, they've probably got a mark for that as well, because power athletes have more girth, heavier muscles. which supplies the strength and power needed. However, an endurance athlete would need to, I think that says have, I can't read that, and be as light as possible to not waste muscle mass or energy. I think that your answers will look very similar to that answer there, and that is a very, very safe answer, actually. If that was a 3 mark answer, it would have got 3 out of 3, I reckon. So the examiner says that gets full marks, and says he could have the person answering it could have done it the other way around as well. Okay, so that one is the end of the lesson there. Make sure you just quickly check your answer, and then please make sure you do the next topic, the next lesson, which is a new topic, and it's a really good one. I really like teaching it. So I'll see you on the next lesson, guys. See you later.